What's up, Texans fans? What's up, H-Town? It's your man, Chess White, aka Jargon2, and today I'm going to be talking about Week 2, Texans and Buccaneers, Monday Night Football. Really excited for this game and all the different matchups that we're going to see on the field. Really looking forward to seeing how the Texans respond after Week 1. Are they coming off of a dub? Are they coming off of an L against the Rams? And it's going to be an exciting atmosphere for the home opener in this game. Now, Baker Mayfield is going to be an issue for the Texans because he's a competitor. We've seen him run over linebackers. We've seen him stiff-arm Nick Bosa. He just put up the best season of his career, resurrected his career in Tampa, threw for 4,500 yards, led them to the playoffs, and he's just been an impressive player since he got to Tampa. Now, his college career and his time in Cleveland, I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm talking about this current version of Baker. They added Emeka Egbuka in the offseason, who a lot of Texans fans wanted us to pick up in the draft. He's a player with good size, good speed, great route runner. He's an intelligent player. He's been productive. And all the reports from training camp are that the guy's been a beast so far. So when you look at Cade Otton at tight end, who Baker loves to throw to, and in this last regular season matchup, he was tossing touchdowns to Cade Otton, Mike Evans, and Emeka Egbuka. He's got weapons out there. He's got Bucky Irving, and he's got Rachaad White in the backfield, catching passes and running the rock as well, and Tampa generally has a pretty good offensive line. So again, this might be a shootout game. Tampa has got very good players at key positions. And I'll be really excited to see if our D-line can hunt Baker, if they can get to him, pressure him, force fumbles, force interceptions. But let's start with this Tampa Bay offense again. So when I think about Baker, to me he's reminiscent of Brett Favre. He's not the biggest, strongest guy or the fastest guy, but he's tough as nails. He's going to do what it takes to win, and his teammates and coaches respect him. He has an undeniable competitive spirit. And so everything really starts with Baker. I don't think that the Bucs are going to be able to run all over us. I know Bucky Irving is a talented player, but he's on the smaller side. It was Rachaad White in the last game that did a lot of work against us in the passing game, taking short passes and turning them into big plays. Irving was not on the team yet at that point, but it's going to be really important for the Texans defense to show up and show out against Baker and against Mike Evans. Is Stingley going to be able to lock up Evans all game? Honestly, I don't think so. Evans is one of those players who's going to get work over the middle, crossing routes, drag routes, dig routes, and he's going to help Tampa move the ball. And then when they get into the red zone, Baker loves to throw fades to him. So it's going to be really important for the whole defense to be aware of what Tampa wants to do and to be ready to respond to it, to confuse their offensive line and throw blitzes at them that they're not expecting, because if you can pressure Baker, you can win this game. Tampa is led by a defensive coach in Todd Bowles, and when you take a look at their defense, they've got some really talented players. Starting out with the D-line, they've got the big man, Vita Vea, right in the middle. He causes problems against any team he's playing against, run or pass. He's just a problem up the middle. Kalijah Kancey, who was a first-round pick from them, Yaya Diaby, Logan Hall out of Houston, and then in the offseason they added Hassan Reddick to be a speed rusher off the edge. So just like the Rams game, their D-line is super talented and could be a big problem for us in the game, trying to block these guys and keep CJ clean in the pocket. But one of the differences is that Tampa has got some of the best linebackers in the league, Levante David being right at the top of the list. Yes, he is getting older, but he's been one of the most consistent linebackers in the NFL for a decade. And then Antoine Winfield Jr. in the secondary has also been a very solid player. They added another Georgia Bulldog, Tyke Smith, to the defense. And then at corner, you've also got Jamel Dean. So I'm really looking at this defense and thinking a lot of similar things with the Rams defense. I think we will be able to move the ball against them. I think that our best receiver is better than their best DB, and that it's going to be another situation where we're not going to be able to run all over this team. Vita Vea and Levante David are not going to be having that. So it's going to be up to CJ again to carry this team, complete the passes, move the ball down the field, and to score enough points to win the game. My prediction is again that Houston is going to win. I do think we can start out 2-0. I think it's going to be really important to start out 2-0 because both of these games can be very close. And if you were to lose both of them and start out the season in an 0-2 hole going into a divisional game, you do not want to let the season get off the rails. And the number one way to let it get off the rails is when you need a win the most and you have to play a divisional team and they get a dub over you in that game. But what I really want to see in this game are very similar matchups. Is our third and fourth wide receiver better than Tampa's third and fourth DB? And also, are our defensive ends going to be able to collapse the pocket around Baker? And can we get push up the middle against that Tampa Bay offensive line? It's basically the same matchups that are going to determine the game. But there is a little bit of a different flavor between Stafford and Baker, between the Rams being in their home stadium and Tampa coming into your building. So what I really want to see out of the Texans the most is good execution. We can win both of these games if we simply have good execution. We're not hurting ourselves, as D'Amico likes to say, winning the turnover battle, not committing a bunch of penalties, and just playing smart complementary football. This team has everything that it takes to be able to do that, but it's enough about talking about doing it is you have to put it together. This is just the reality of playing a first-place schedule. It is going to be difficult at the beginning of the season, and this Texans team is going to have to put together dubs early, and CJ is going to have to be a really big part of that. CJ's game against Tampa as a rookie was the moment that I knew that beyond any shadow of doubt that he was a super special player. I remember him playing against Jacksonville and Pittsburgh and thinking, man, this is a really good rookie QB. But when I saw it in person in that game, I knew that we had something truly transcendent with him and that he was super clutch as well. So again, this game could come down to a single drive at the end or a single play, a field goal at the end. And no one will really remember this game at the end of the season. It's just another game on the schedule. There's 17 games now, and you have to get as many dubs as possible. I don't really care who the opponent is. I don't care if you're on the road or at home. You have to put together more wins than you did last season because we're in the conference that has more elite quarterbacks than the other conference. And a lot of people measure the success of this team based on not what we do in the regular season, but what we do in the playoffs. So look, we're going to have to see what happens one game at a time. And week 2 is when the NFL season really starts to become fun and really starts to get going. Because there are many unpredictable things that happen in week 1. There's usually some upsets. Last season, the Patriots went into Cincinnati and beat the Bengals. You never really know which teams are going to be rusty and which teams are going to be ready for week 1. And week 2, you'll get to see which teams are desperate and which teams put up a bad performance but bounce back the following week. And we're going to get to see this Texans team in primetime. So there's going to be a lot of hype around this game. A lot of people having their little 2 cents about what's going to determine the outcome of the game. But really, again, just the same thing as last week is nobody can really predict this game. Tampa might come in and just be firing on all cylinders, and the Texans might end up going 1-1, splitting these 2 NFC opponent games. And that doesn't determine the outcome of your season because it is still very early in the season. So you look at what we have to do to accomplish starting out 2-0 is it's beating 2 playoff teams from the other conference with great quarterbacks. Not an easy task, but it's something that this team can do. Let's look at our wide receivers against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers secondary. I don't think that anybody can lock up Nico. I think Nico's the best wide receiver in this game again, and there's only going to be a very few games of the season where I think that there is a better receiver than Nico out there because I think he is going to be coming in at 4th for me behind Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Tyreek Hill. Nico has a chance to really go off on this game and put up huge numbers. Everything that I've heard indicates that Mixon is going to be out for most likely the first 4 games of the season. Chris Godwin is going to be out for this game. We're going to probably still have CJ GJ on the sidelines for this game. There's going to be a lot of players who are not participating, but for the players who are in this game, we are going to have to lock in and get a win out of this game, because I know how much that game the following week against Jacksonville is going to be crucial for establishing dominance in the division. If the Jacksonville Jaguars start out 2-0 and that week 3 game is between two 2-0 teams, then that tiebreaker could come into play later on in the season for who actually wins the division. And to me, it's going to be between Jacksonville and Indy, and I have no idea which one is going to turn in a better 2025 season, but we don't play Indy until mid-season. And so getting that win over Jacksonville early is going to be really important. And I want to see the Texans get off to the best start possible, and they're going to have to put together dubs. So if you made it this far, put your area codes in the chat. Tell me which part of Houston are you from, which part of Texas or the USA are you from. All Texans fans here are welcome. And I'm really looking forward to talking about week 3 against the Jaguars. And until then, I'm out. Peace.